Azure, okay? Azure Agentic AI, okay? And also it's called app, development, okay? So here in this course, basically this is Azure, you know, in the category of Azure AI 103, okay? That's a new course, Naveen. So, again, this course basically this is designed to address the people who wants to build some of the applications, backend applications. I would say for GenAI and agentic AI using this Azure cloud. So there are the different, data stacks basically that is used here. Okay. So when you work on this AI agent or agentic AI, okay. So basically you have, different touch point that you have to discuss. Okay. For example, the AI, hopefully you know it. Okay. That is why you are here. So we all know what is AI, and when you try to mimic some of the AI systems, it means you're trying to make some human intelligence. So that is more of a AI, right? Then you have something called machine learning. Okay, so machine learning is again you have something called traditional approach that we do, some kind of a supervised learning, some kind of a regression that you do. Okay, so this comes under this typically machine learning. But also there is something called deep learning. So deep learning means when you use some of the neural network, for example, you do some kind of a computer vision, some kind of audio analysis, a speech analysis, okay, some translations that we do. So that comes under the deep learning where you try to have a more insights or exposure that you want to bring with those data sets. Okay, it's like a one layer. If analysis is done on one of the layer, I would say preliminary analysis on top of a layer, for example, in terms of regression and classifications, then we call it as a machine learning. But we have some, huge data, a pile of a data, a big data. Then on that, you try to do some analysis. Then you say it's a deep learning because you use some of the neural network. So again, it's a black box, right? So the when you say black box, we don't know how these computations are being done to come up with the result or outcome, right? But apart from all these things, the new terms that has evolved is Gen AI. Okay, so when you say Gen AI, so what do you mean by Gen AI? Means something which where we are not bothered about the training of the model because it is already trained on, right? So that we typically say it as a Gen AI. Okay, but how Gen AI can benefit it if already we have some machine learning, right? Machine learning things are there, right? So why we are after this, this Gen AI? The reason is that now we do not want to invest in an area where we need to train our model again and again, right? So that is why this Gen AI comes into play where we have to work on only the pre-trained model. Okay, so where we only work on pre-trained model. Okay, so when it comes to pre-training of the model, okay, so pre-training means again, how we can use it for different purposes. For example, for chat completions, chat GPT typically use. For example, chat GPT could be one of the examples where we use this pre-trained model, right? And the back of the systems where this pre-training of this, the systems typically work. Okay. So that is what we call it as a, Chat GPT. Okay, so that is based and built on top of this pre-training of the model. Okay, now the one more term that we are more interested in is something called agentic AI, right? So in this course, Azure 103 will work on something called agentic AI. Agentic AI is nothing but when you have some LLM. LLM means large language model. For example, here in this Chat GPT, we use OpenAI GPT, let's say 5.0 model. This is just a model. This is nothing but LLM, right? So when LLM doesn't have all the capabilities, they cannot take actions. They do not have updated information. So that is why we need this LLM. And there is something called tool calling. Tools. We need tools. So if you need tools, for example, if I tell you to book ticket from Bangalore to Delhi, right? Can your LLM book the ticket? No. because they can give you the charge, routes, some of the static informations that can give you. But when it comes to give you the dynamic informations, updated informations, real-time informations, your agentic AI can give you. But static chatbot built on top of LLM cannot give you, right? So that is why tools we need, right? So once you add tool with your LLM, we call it AI agent. But if you have some multiple agent together, okay? So let's say if you have some multiple agent, okay, multiple agent. For example, there is some agent called, they will extract the data, they will review the data, and some agent will analyze, or you can say summarize the data. So in that case, there would be a multiple agent talking to each other. Okay. So in that case, we need some framework. We need something called agentic frameworks. Okay. So when you say agentic frameworks, it is again, we are talking about some of the orchestrator, a kind of manager, I would say. Orcus, orchestrator, okay? A something called manager, something called manager. We need something called coordinator, because there would be some multiple agents that we need to talk to. So in that case, the agentic framework this comes, because a single agent you can handle it. But if you have a multiple agent, how you can handle it? It's very difficult to handle the multiple agent, right? So in that case, we need a orchestrator, a something called coordinator. So these words you might have seen, orchestrations, right? These words typically, come in the market. But what are the orchestrator, or I would say the framework? So what all are the agentic frameworks? So when I say framework, I'm referring to orchestrator, I'm referring to coordinator agent. Okay. So who gonna coordinate it? Because there are multiple agent. Okay. They can fight. So who gonna give a directions to the LLM that you activate first agent X, then once they finish the task, then activate agent Y, then Z. So who gonna delegate the task? Who gonna orchestrate it, right? Some command, who gonna give that? So we need a orchestrator. We need a framework. So the few frameworks within the, the boundary of this Azure is, the first one is semantic kernel. Okay, it's called semantic kernel. Something called semantic kernel, first one. And we also denote it by SK. We call it SK. Then we have something called autogen. Autogen. Okay. This one is called autogen. Okay. So autogen is also a framework. Okay. Now, these two are, you can say Microsoft framework. But also there are also some framework called LangGraph. Okay. LangGraph. So LangGraph is also a framework that you can use within the boundary of Azure cloud. Okay. And there is also some framework called Crew AI. Okay. So these are the frameworks that typically we'll understand inside this Azure AI 103, because it gives you, kind of a solid understanding of the entire, Azure 103. So it's kind of, you will know how to create a backend, work on a backend service plus AI layer. Okay. How we will create it, plus how we will deploy it. Okay. Deploy. So it's more of a, you can say the full stack AI engineer. Okay. Which is in the demand, because once you do this course, you'll know how to create a backend of AI systems, how can deploy it, and work on few of this agentic framework. Okay. So this is the, I would say, the entire snapshot of Azure 103. So let me share my screen again. So that it will be more clear to you. So let me just allow me some seconds and let me share my screen. So, so if you see this one, you know, the framework typically, okay. So let's say we have some LLMs and now we want to work on this agentic AI, because Azure 103 will connect dot to the agentic AI. Okay. So what we will work and what we will study in this course is LLM, RAG, AI agent, agentic AI, and MCP also, because these are the things that market demands, where you will work on the enterprise level application. For example, if you work in any of the organizations, without agentic AI, you cannot survive. Without MCP, you cannot survive. Okay. Because gone are the those days where we were working on some of the generative AI. But now every single applications are built on top of agents. You need to have access to agent. And to create an agent, you must know what is MCP. Right. So in this course, we will be covering all those, the topics. Right. So now coming to this, the agentic framework that I'm trying to explain, because the LLM that we know, right? So once you see this LLM part, right? So we have this LLM, right? LLM that you give a prompt and you get a response, right? But there is a limitation of this LLM because it cannot give you real-time information and cannot take actions. That is why RAG came into the market. That is a retrieval augmented generation. In RAG, what we have done, we have given access to external data sources to our LLM. But still, there was some issue of these hallucinations. You can see, still it has reduced the hallucinations, but still cannot take actions. So we wanted a LLM to take actions. So then we come up with this something called agent. And to agent, what we have given so that it can take actions is tool calling. That is a tool and API. We have given access to this LLM tools and API so that it can take actions, right? So in this Azure 103 is more aligned towards RAG plus AI agent plus agentic AI. Okay. So for example, if you want to book ticket from Dhaka to Seoul, let's say, so there would be an agent that will first break the your prompt, divide into subtasks. For example, it will search the flight, it will compare the price, check the availability, book the flight, and then confirm and notify you. Notify you is something, it is something kind of all these things are taking actions, right? Using these APIs and tool calling. Okay. So that will fall under the AI agent. But when it comes to agentic AI, that I was just trying to explain, when multiple agent will try to talk to each other, okay, that forms that we typically call it as a agentic AI. Okay, in this Azure 103, the framework that I was talking to, for example, Semantic Kernel, Autogen, LangGraph, Crew AI. These are the frameworks, enterprise level framework. If you go in, any of the project, if you know this land graph, if you know semantic kernel, high chances of being selected in that, that project or even in the organizations, right? So agentic AI is nothing but a collaborators, orchestrator, a manager agent. Let's say there is one market research agent you have created, content creation agent you have created, campaign management agent you have created, and some performance analysis agent. But these agents cannot work in isolation. We need some higher level manager who can look after all these people, right? Agent is nothing, it's like a single human, those who are working to achieve a single goal, right? So for that we need a coordinator. That is why you see the term called coordinator, agentic AI. They need some coordination. So that is why this orchestrator word is used. Okay. So in this course, we will try to achieve all these things. Got it? So now let me share my screen and quickly we'll see how through this Microsoft Foundry, we can create some of the agents. Okay, just allow me some few seconds. Okay, and then we'll see one demo. Okay, so let me share my screen. Yeah. Hope my screen is visible to you. Okay, so if you see this screen, this is Azure portal. Okay, and if you have access to you people might have used, so your screen will look like this. Interface will look like this. Okay, so what you have to do, because all the agent or AI applications typically migrated to Microsoft Foundry. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to just search Microsoft Foundry. Just go and search Microsoft Foundry. So once you search Microsoft Foundry, you will see the logo of Microsoft Foundry, very new Microsoft Foundry logo. Okay. And you'll have a screen dashboard like this on the right side. If you scroll down, you see something like this. But right now, you are not interested in all these things. Now you go to this Foundry. Okay. And we'll create one Foundry resource. We'll hit this one. We'll go pay as you go. And then there is something called create new. We'll write RG. Okay. Fondry 01. Let's say this is my resource. I'll create it and then I'll create FD. Let's say I'm saying agent AGNT 01. Okay. And I'm provisioning in region called East US. And then I'll directly hit review and create. If some error comes, we'll see in this screen. Okay. Let's wait for some 30 seconds. So it takes some 30-40 seconds and it will provision your Foundry resource. Okay. It's very easy platform where you can experiment, create end-to-end RAG applications, AI agent, agentic AI solutions. And also you customize it and create Python script and you can create a production level applications. Okay. So now just hit this something called create. So once I hit this create, again, it will take 30-40 seconds and it will provision it. It will deploy it. Okay. So let's wait for 30-40 seconds. Let's see how much time it takes to deploy my this Foundry resource. Okay. So let's wait. So now once it is in deployment state, you'll see some commentary like this. So it says deployment is in progress. Okay. So once it is in progress, okay, so it will provision few of the resources. Okay, just see. So it resource type and status. So it says it is created and something called operation status. Okay. So now just see it is saying deployment is in progress. Let's wait. Okay. And also you see the kind of subscription I am using. So I am using pay as you go. My resource group name is RG Foundry 01, let's say. Start time, correlation ID, because the Azure will work inside this resource group. If you do not have a resource group, you cannot create different services within that resource group. So to create a service, we need something called resource group. So let's wait as deployment is in progress. Okay. Now, if you scroll down, let's see. Is there anything that we need attention? No, we don't need. So let's just wait some 30 seconds more. So deployment is in progress. Also, you see this resource type, few more resource type, it will provision it. Okay. Cognitive services. So deployment. Let's wait. Deployment is in progress. You see this. And just directly, as it's completed, directly go to resource. So once you go to this resource, you'll see a screen like this and directly go and hit this one, because if you want to build apps and agents in the Foundry, right, you have to go to this Foundry portal. Azure 103 in this one will build apps and agents. Okay. So once you go to this screen, okay, just see what we can see it. So it is loading it and we'll see one screen. Let's see how it looks like. So you are navigating to ai.azure.com now. Okay, let's wait. So once we are in this, you'll see a screen like this. This is a Foundry portal. And there are few things: use model, build agent, create an agent. So right now we'll go this start building it because we want to work on this agent. And then we say this agent. Okay, so I say Azure 103 agent. Okay, and I hit this create. So once I hit this create, okay, so just see how it looks like. Okay, so just wait and you see there is something called GPT-5. It is a RLLM. Okay, so it is provisioning apart from creation of this agent, also provisioning this LLM, attaching an LLM. Without LLM, our agent cannot work. It's like a brain, right? So it takes another 30-40 seconds. Let's wait and let's see that the how the interface of agent looks like inside this Foundry. So once you see this Foundry, it's again in the left side you see Azure 103 agent name. Right side just see this is agent name. This is a playground. But interesting part is the left side. You have some of the things in this left pane where deployment, fine tuning, services, tools, knowledge, data, evolution, guardrails. So once you start studying 103, you have to understand all these three components, and which are very interesting, okay, and also easy to understand, okay. So once you see this on this right side, this dashboard, you have a model called GPT-5. This is a standard model, okay. This is deployed. So once I click it, you have access to these models. These are nothing but LLMs, okay. Also, you can browse different models. If I go, and there is something called base model, okay. So if you check, there are different models of this, multiple models you can have access to. So depending on our use case, you can have access to. Right now you don't need, so we'll cancel it, okay. Now there is something called voice mode. Right now we don't need, just go down. There is something called instructions, because this is a prompt engineering, right? So you will write a better prompt so that we can have access to. We'll write it, don't worry. If you go down, there is something called tool, okay. So when I say AI agent is nothing but it is LLM here is GPT. It's GPT 5.0, let's say, plus tools, okay, right now. So if you give access to LLM, the tool, then we say this is AI agent. So now go to this add. This is a tool section. If you just do this, this is tool. I expand this, I get this screen like this. There is something called add. And you see there is something called wave search. This is one of the tool on. If I do off, okay, and I can do on, okay, just add it. So this is the tool, wave search tool, okay, and taking, all the data from wing search. So I'll say add, okay. Once I say add, then again go to, and this is activated. So now what tools I have given to wave search, wave search. So this is the wave search tool. I have given access to my LLM, okay. Now come to here. I say you are an healthcare assistant and give me only health related information for grounding response. Okay. So this is a prompt basically. I am saying my LLM, I am saying my AI agent to give me a response. You behave like a healthcare assistant and then give me a response only related to health. I'll say save. Okay. Once I save it, so I have access to the tool called wave search, and I have given this prompt instructions. So this is a kind of persona building. Okay. And then I'll do this something called refresh. So once I refresh it, okay, once I refresh it, I have prompt here. This is instructions, model is here. And the third thing is tools that I have given access to. I have make it on so that the tool is connected. So I am saying, give me reason of cough and cold in a human. Let's say I'm just open-ended questions. So let's see whether my agent gives me the response from the wave searcher. So whatever response you will see on this screen on the right side, it will give you a data from wave search, means internet. Okay, all the data you'll get. Okay. So whatever you see is coming from the internet. Right now, can you see it? All the data. Here are the common reasons for this cold symptoms on all these things that we can see. So all these are coming from our wave search, everything. Okay. So now let's say I'm writing what is, let's say what is agriculture. If there is some issue with our prompt, then it will give me the response. Let's see whether this prompt is working well or not. Okay. So if you see this one, short answer with health lens. So my prompt is not better. That is why it is giving as per the health lens. As this was the agriculture, but again it is giving me the response taking at as healthcare. Okay, that is the issue with the prompt. So that is why in this Azure 103 we'll also try to look at the prompt engineering also, that how you can write sophisticated prompt so that your LLM, your AI agent cannot bypass it. Okay, so that is what I just wanted to show you in this demo. Okay, so this is what from my side. Any questions from you people? Anything that you want to ask related to any course and anything? Genaimltech, you can connect with. Okay, if you have any query, any questions, syllabus, durations. Okay, these things you can consult with Genaiml team. Okay, any questions? Anything, Naveen and other people, other folks? Yeah, Naveen, Dipti, if you have any questions, you can ask me upfront.
No, sir, not at the moment.
Okay, thanks, Deepti. So also you can consult Genaimltech team. They are there, so they can give you the response or anything that you want to ask. Okay. So thank you so much. Let's meet. So thank you so much. Okay, bye bye.